Today is Saturday, March 3rd, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of March 4th through the 11th, 2018. On the 11th, we're going to move into daylight savings time. Until then, we're still in standard time. So, weekly summary. We've got a dreamy and pleasant start of the week with Sun conjunct Neptune and Mercury conjunct Venus on Sunday the 4th. And then on Monday and Tuesday, Moon in Scorpio gives us stamina to focus and work on existing projects, while Mercury and Venus enter Aries this week. We've got a long void, of course, on Wednesday morning until the mid-afternoon, when the Moon in Sagittarius begins to lighten things up a bit. On Thursday, Jupiter goes retrograde, and Thursday and Friday look to be good days for growth and business. And Friday evening is a good time to go exploring, while the Moon goes void, of course, until early Saturday morning. Moon in Capricorn over the coming weekend. Saturday evening, we may feel unsociable with the Moon conjunct Saturn in Capricorn and Mercury square Saturn, slowing us down. However, two very energetic and exciting aspects early Sunday morning means that Saturday evening could actually be a lot of fun and excitement, despite the other aspects. And really, Sunday is the best day of the week. It's an energetic and exciting day, great for all creative endeavors. We have a wonderful pair of aspects. Mars trine Uranus, Sagittarius to Aries, gives you the desire to do something new and innovative, go exploring. And Sun sextile Pluto gives you the passion and a strong burst of energy to accomplish whatever you set your mind to, as well as motivates your innate healing abilities, much like last week when we had Mercury and Venus sextile Pluto. So plan ahead and find something interesting to do this coming Sunday. In fact, I'm particularly excited about this set of aspects because on the 11th, I'm going to be at the New Earth Expo in Sacramento, where I have a booth, and I cannot think of a better set of aspects for such an event. So please come on over and meet me if you're in the area. Basically, it's a transition week as we begin to move from all of this Pisces energy to Aries and the first sign of spring. And I have an announcement this week. I've got a Twitter page now, so you can check that out. Here's my Twitter account, so you can follow me. I'll leave the link in the description. Follow my Twitter feed, where I'm now posting tweets on a regular basis throughout the week, and I will announce the winner of last month's contest for a free natal reading at the end of this video. Okay, so also at the end, I'm going to take a look at the transits occurring this month for Donald Trump. There's a really intriguing synchronicity with his transits and an upcoming series of aspects. And it all ties into that big executive order he signed on December the 21st, 2017, when we had Sun conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. It's a time of testing for all of that. And also a little bit about South Africa. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday, March the 4th. We've got a dreamy, lazy, and artistic day with Sun conjunct Neptune and Mercury conjunct Venus. Okay, so starting early in the morning, we've got Sun conjunct Neptune, and once again, it's at 13 degrees of Pisces, just like so many aspects to Neptune over the last month. This is the last one. So today we reach a high point in the Pisces energy we're feeling this month. It's a low energy aspect, makes you lazy, may not feel like doing much, desire to escape. Energy flows like a river, so you just kind of have to sit back and watch it all flow, you know. We're more sensitive, intuitive, and artistic, impressionable, open to subtle influences around us, spiritual, not materialistic. We let down our guard and let others in. We see the best side in others and overlook the bad side. You may feel disappointment. That comes a lot with the Pisces aspects. Like life's got you down, unsure of yourself. as your creative energy dissolves. And it really helps to find a support group you can be with during this time. As well, it's a good time for meditation and to just be of service to others. Show compassion, acceptance, willingness to lay down your ego. And of course, artistic endeavors are always recommended, like all these Pisces aspects we've been having for the last few weeks. And then also on Sunday morning, we've got Mercury conjunct Venus. You'll see here at 27 degrees of Pisces. It looks like Chiron is also getting thrown into the mix as well. So we've got 3 planets there at 27 Pisces. The Mercury conjunct Venus is always a wonderful aspect. Communication takes on a Venus quality. We're more diplomatic, aware of the listener, romantic, able to communicate your love for another. That's persuasive and coquettish. We appreciate beauty. We're interested in art. We speak in gentle tones, especially Pisces, which is so sensitive. So no harsh words today. It's a good energy to resolve your differences with someone if you need to do that. Otherwise, it's another dreamy Pisces aspect that asks us to look beyond this material world and think on different levels. Another great aspect for artistic endeavors, and it goes well with the gentle and sophisticated moon in Libra that we're having today. Although this aspect about noon, moon square Pluto, is a bit unsettling. Feeling a burst of energy though. And then later in the afternoon, moon sextile Mars. Feeling energetic, good time for a breath of fresh air. And then late in the evening, moon opposition Uranus. Emotions get unstable, surprises cause disruptions, feeling a little bit strange. A void, of course, begins and continues until Monday morning. So moving along to Monday, March the 5th. So Monday morning starts with the moon in Scorpio, keeping us focused and determined all day. And we've got Mercury going into Aries today. So we start in the morning with moon enters Scorpio. We're more focused and determined for the next couple of days, working to build a new base emotional foundation. So it's like if you've got some basic, negative energy that's been hanging out, the moon in Scorpio time is a time to dig deep and get to the heart of the matter. Like a volcano, Scorpio burns through the superficial layers, repairs, transforms, and purifies along the way. Relationships should be on a steady path, and we're focused on commitment and attending to your partner's emotional needs. And that's what Scorpio is, the second water sign. Cancer, the first water sign, is your emotional needs, and Scorpio, the second water sign, is your partner's emotional needs. But jealousy and destructive energies emerge that can ruin it all, and that's the energy of Pluto. Got to learn to harness that. And in the evening on Monday, we've got a nice moon sextile Saturn. So Monday evening has us focused and attending to work and responsibility. Good aspect for seeing a job through to the finish. And then late Monday evening, Mercury enters Aries. Okay, so it goes retrograde. While it's in Aries, it's going to go retrograde from 16 degrees, about the middle of Aries, all the way down to 4 degrees. So it's going to be in Aries all the way until May the 13th. Wow, it's a long time. Over 2 months. A lot more than the usual 2.5 weeks per sign that we get with Mercury. So this is a long period, extra long period of Mercury in Aries. During this time, communication takes on an impulsive, aggressive tone. We're more active mentally. This gives us the energy to start new projects. It's a really good place for Mercury, as I've noticed in people's charts over the years. It gives them a strong mind. People with Mercury in Aries say, I know what I think. So they identify with their own ideas, and they're not easily swayed by others. Yet they reserve the right to change their own mind. Can be very witty and do something surprising. So because of this long period of Mercury in Aries, we're going to have things like 3 passes of Mercury square Saturn, 2 passes of Mercury square Pluto. So our ideas go through a lot of testing. This aspect creates a political crisis over the next 2 months, as it could start this coming weekend at the first pass of Mercury square Saturn. Could have some serious political implications with this Mercury in Aries. And while in Aries, Mercury joins its higher vibration, which is Uranus, in Aries for the last time in a long while, because Uranus is about to move into Taurus. So this is going to be the last time we get Mercury conjunct Uranus in Aries for quite a long time, like 80 years. And the same is true for Venus and the Sun. So we could say that the paradigm of Uranus in Aries is activated one last time this spring. See this time of Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Aries as one last opportunity to manifest your new identity, incorporating some element of your higher self, your unique self, into your identity, which is what we were supposed to be doing over the last 7 years of Uranus in Aries. And Mercury and Venus, they're always close by the Sun from Earth's perspective. And in 2017, last year, Mercury and Venus entered Aries a little bit before the Sun, just like they do this year. This is part of the usual happenings around the start of spring, so we could see this as a jump start or a beginning sense of spring coming on. Moving along to Tuesday, March the 6th. Moon in Scorpio gives a soulful morning, and Moon trine Sun around noon makes a good time for creative endeavors, and Venus enters Aries. So we start in the morning with Moon trine Neptune, feeling dreamy, better connected to the spirit world. Calming, reassuring spiritual insight comes to you. It's happening in the morning, and these nice trines to Neptune or sextiles to Neptune in the morning are a good time to try to recall your dreams. And then around noon, we've got the Moon trine Sun. So Tuesday, just before noon, a wonderful aspect. Creative energy flows in a loving, reassuring way. Insecurities overcome. Able to give and receive unconditional love, because it's Pisces. Time of healing and rejuvenation. There's a Scorpio there. And Venus enters Aries today. So until March the 30th, Venus is fallen in Aries, where it can be vain and self-absorbed about appearances. Although generally positive in Aries, they like to demonstrate their love. Venus can be too outgoing and aggressive in Aries, where it needs to learn its opposite sign, Libra, diplomacy, and tact. Venus in Aries is more concerned about their looks and take care of themselves well, so it's a good time to get yourself in shape. Anything you do to make yourself more beautiful would be a good outlet for this energy. The impulsive nature of Aries means that relationships go through a dynamic state as partners reassert their individuality. Those that begin now are enjoyable, but not necessarily long-lasting, and it depends on other factors. The main aspects for Venus and Aries, we've got some challenges here. On the 13th, Venus square Saturn, and then Venus square Pluto on the 23rd, followed by Venus conjunct Uranus on the 28th. So that's a lot of dynamic energy there. Relationships and partnerships go through a challenging time. Sacrificing identity for career. That's the square for, from Aries to Capricorn. And a need for independence and something new from that conjunction to Uranus, which is coming. So it could be a challenging time this month for relationships while Venus is in Aries. Finishing up Tuesday evening, we've got Moon sextile Pluto. Brings up deep feelings, not interested in superficial encounters. Time to delve into mystery or psychology. Maybe watch a good mystery movie. Desire to make a change for the better. Could be a little disruptive. And moving along to Wednesday, March the 7th, we've got Moon in Scorpio void, of course, this morning until the afternoon, when the Moon in Sagittarius gives us a creative evening and good time for business. So just after midnight, Wednesday morning, Moon conjunct Jupiter. Emotions expand, folks are charitable, and it's a good time for business, but it's just past midnight. So, okay, so a void, of course, begins and continues until the mid-afternoon, so we're not starting any new projects on Wednesday morning. And then mid-afternoon, Moon enters Sagittarius, so we're more jovial for the next couple of days. Generally a good time for business, as folks are in a spending mood, more enthusiastic and optimistic. This is interesting as Jupiter goes retrograde while the Moon is in Sag now. So Jupiter is standing still this evening. While it stops, we have two wonderful Moon aspects this evening. Moon trine Venus in the late afternoon, so put folks in a pleasant mood, good time for social gatherings. And then in the middle of the evening, Moon trine Mercury, a creative flow of feelings, thoughts, and ideas. Interested in knowledge, good time for business and communications. Okay, moving along to Thursday, March the 8th. Moon in Sagittarius makes it a good day for business affairs, with one challenge in the early evening, and Jupiter goes retrograde today. So we start in the early evening with the Moon square Neptune. Hypersensitive, we're easily hurt with this one. It induces a dreamy state of mind, easily deluded, but important wisdom is gained during these moments if you can struggle through the confusion. And then in the evening, Jupiter goes retrograde at 23 degrees 14 minutes of Scorpio. Continues retrograde down to 13 degrees 21 minutes on July the 10th. So that's just over 4 months, typical for Jupiter retrograde. Represents a time when the attributes of Jupiter are turned inward. We can develop an overly optimistic appraisal of your life and you get lazy. Generally speaking, it's a time when you feel like you can't reach your goals in life without some extra effort. That retrograde energy kind of makes you a little doubtful. Even though it may not be the case, you just kind of feel that way. We're going over old ground. So it's time to reacquaint yourself with the wisdom that you've already gained, because that's what Jupiter and Sag is, wisdom. And put that wisdom to good use and not ask for more from the universe. Okay, so it's practical with your wisdom. The most important thing about this is check your own chart. You know, it's really important to see where Jupiter is and where your growth process is. And check to see which degrees Jupiter revisits. See which house and planets get aspects in this retrograde period. Planets from 13 to 23 Scorpio, especially, as well as the other planet aspects to Scorpio, see a lot of growth over this time. The initial growth that you already experienced at the first pass will need further refinements and more growth at the second, and the culmination occurs at the last pass after it goes direct. So major aspects for Jupiter during the retrograde period indicate a time to heal psychological wounds and reclaim lost elements of self, even receiving divine grace. And that all comes from the Jupiter trine Neptune, which will be on May the 25th. We've already had it once. It's a fantastic aspect because it puts together the soulful trine of Scorpio to Pisces. And another pass as well, we're going to be getting of Jupiter sextile Pluto, which has a lot of important economic implications in the world, as well as for our own growth process. And that'll be in mid-April. So that's what's going on with Jupiter these days. Okay, let's move along to Friday, March the 9th. Moon in Sagittarius makes it a good day for business and gives us the ambition to go exploring this evening. In the middle of the night, we've got the last quarter moon, Moon square Sun. In the very early hours of the morning, tensions arise and we are feeling a crisis for fulfillment, just like all the squares, the moon there and sun. Your perceptions expand, and that's because it's the Sag to Pisces. Expand beyond your current wisdom. Makes you feel uncertain, and you're forced to go on faith to overcome what you don't see. Okay, so that's the last quarter. And moving into the afternoon on Friday, we've got a moon conjunct Mars in Sagittarius, feeling aggressive, impulsive, lots of physical energies. Folks are irritable. It's hard to maintain equilibrium because, you know, Mars is the opposite, Aries, I should say, rules Aries, which is the opposite of Venus, which rules Libra. So Mars has a problem with that equilibrium. And we're talking about that with Venus now in the sign of Aries. So easy to lose your perspective. Take things personally. Moon activates the coming Mars trine Uranus aspect on Sunday. And that's what's so important about the moon on Friday night. It's actually very positive with this conjunction to Mars and trine to Uranus. Because I'm seeing these moments when the moon activates a coming aspect, because the accompanying planetary aspect is activated in the subconscious mind at these times. So it may feel subconsciously like the Mars trine Uranus aspect is happening now, even though that's not until Sunday. This gives us an instinctual awareness of what is about to happen. And I really want to emphasize this because as I've been looking at these aspects and seeing how I feel and how I react, I'm noticing that when the moon comes in and touches a coming planetary aspect, we feel like that planetary aspect is happening at that time. And of course, this Mars trine Uranus is a very excitable and active one. So that's what could make Friday evening the same. And we're having the moon trine Uranus, so that one will make us feeling lucky, ambitious, very perceptive, spontaneous, enlightening conversation, desire to do something interesting, attracted to the unusual, a surprise. Tonight, folks are looking for a change of scenery, want to go exploring. Can be disruptive, but for the better. And then a void, of course, begins and continues until early Saturday morning. So, Saturday, the 10th. During the day, we've got Moon in Capricorn. Makes it a work day. And Moon conjunct Saturn in the early evening means it's time for therapy. As well, we got Mercury square Saturn late this evening. Means we prefer to be alone. However, two very energetic and exciting aspects early Sunday morning means that Saturday evening could be a lot of fun and excitement. So, just past midnight there, early morning, Moon enters Capricorn. We're more concerned with duty and obligations for the next couple of days. Emotions contract, more concerned with material security and reputation, and we're more mature. And then late morning, we've got a Moon square Venus, both feminine planets in their fallen sign. Because you know, Moon rules Cancer, fallen in Capricorn, Venus rules Aries, Venus rules Libra, fallen in Aries. So both feminine planets in their fallen sign. So I would say, beware of falling down just before noon on Sunday. It brings up primitive or adolescent behavior, childish, selfish, uncharitable. Okay, that's a challenge there. As well, the Moon square Mercury. Restless mind, pessimistic attitude, conscious fears, subconscious fears, interfere with normal communications. And then in the evening on Saturday, early evening, we really slow down with the Moon conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. Emotions slow to a crawl, feeling inhibited, not available for others. Monthly time for therapy, time to sit down and take stock of your hopes and dreams for life. Time for self-evaluation, correct yourself. What did I miss? Parent yourself. Saturn digs down at first in order to build a foundation. And we need to do that once a month. Dig down and uncover our weaknesses and correct them, or heal them, even better, so we can better face the future. Time to focus on work and responsibility. You can get a lot accomplished with this aspect, as I've noticed lately. And then late on Saturday evening, we've got the Mercury square Saturn. And I'm noticing these Mercury aspects, they don't really last for a whole day. They last for more like a half a day. And so this happening late in the evening on Saturday makes us really mentally rigid. Maybe you just don't feel like talking. Not a good time for communications, poor time for business. Lack of imagination is in contrast to the Mercury in Pisces period we just came out of. So it's a real stark contrast. You know, we've had this Mercury in Pisces for a while. Now we're in Mercury in Aries, and right away we get this square to Saturn. So feeling depressed, in need of encouragement. Think more slowly, carefully. Look for things you've missed. Focused on present circumstances only, not the future or the big picture. A good time for mental work that requires careful attention to detail, which would help prevent you from falling into depression and pessimistic thinking. It's time to correct your thinking. Look for imperfections in your communication and correct yourself, or others may point out your flaws for you, and that's no fun. Not a good time for social gatherings. Better be alone and focused on a task that improves your mental faculties. It has some potential for political crisis. More about this at the end of the evening. So Saturday evening has a contrast of energies because early Sunday morning we've got the Mars trine Uranus and Sun sextile Pluto. So they're very different from the Mercury square Saturn. So Saturday evening, it makes us restless, looking to break out of our usual routine. It's quite a contrast of energies on Saturday evening. And then on Sunday, the 11th, energetic and exciting day, the best day of the week. Like I've been saying, this Mars trine Uranus and Sun sextile Neptune. And of course, daylight savings time begins now in the morning. So, starting early on Sunday, Mars at 26 degrees of Sag, trine Uranus at 26 degrees of Aries. The explorer in you desires a new path to go exploring. How exciting. Today we're more ambitious, daring, feeling a burst of energy, and looking for surprises. Quite the contrast from yesterday, huh? Thinking abstract, able to see the big picture, in tune with cosmic forces to bring about a positive change in your life and take a step forward. Very positive aspect, and the accompanying Sun sextile Pluto means we can more easily make the best of it. A day for new activities. Break out of your usual routine. Do something different. Express the unique side of yourself. Lots of physical energy. Desire to move and make some changes in your life. Not interested in duty and obligations. Easier to let go of inhibitions. Brings up strange or quirky behavior. Uranus is like that. Just to be different. Interested in the unusual. You know, do something to be different. More independent, courageous, wanting to break free. Won't listen to discouragement. Bit disruptive, as you can imagine, like all the Mars-Uranus combinations, only now the easygoing energy of the trine means you just do it, and don't let anyone hold you back. It's good for so many things, but whatever is your inspiration, follow that today. Not a day for sitting around the house. Folks you meet today will be a breath of fresh air, and you might make a new friend, or two, or three. After all, Sagittarius is abundance. And we're having this wonderful Sun sextile Pluto. So Sun, 20 degrees of Pisces to Pluto, 20 degrees of Capricorn. A very productive and useful aspect. Good for getting a lot of work done, with more energy, passion, stamina, focus, and concentration. You feel magnetic, confident, more sexual, more capable, able to overcome insecurities or mental blocks to using your creative energy. Okay, just like the Venus and Mercury sextiles from last week, this aspect motivates our innate healing abilities, enables us to make a change for the better in our lives, more interested in Pluto subjects, psychology and esoteric teachings, as well as the practice of alternative healing modalities, such as yoga or energy healing. Aspect brings up a lot of psychic energy, able to see the motivation of others. We look beyond the mundane world today as we look for answers to the deepest questions in life. The transcendental nature, because it's a fourth quadrant aspect of this aspect, means we are looking to be part of a group that improves society or to just be of service to others. And Pluto requires that we act for the general good of everyone concerned, not purely selfish reasons. So if you're working within a group, you may have to make an adjustment, but it's to yours and everyone else's advantage. So there's more willingness to work with others and get along with them because we see it's the best overall strategy. I'm really excited about this set of aspects. I'm going to be at the New Earth Expo in Sacramento on this day where I have a booth, and I can't think of a better set of aspects for such an event. I'll be doing something innovative and at the same time using my healing abilities to serve others. And that's the perfect combination of things to do with this fantastic energy. Okay, so let's go for the moon aspects on Sunday the 11th. In the morning, moon sextile Neptune, another one of those nice aspects to Neptune in the morning. Try to recall your dreams because it makes you feel very sensitive, mellow, and dreamy. And then, moving into the evening on Sunday, we've got a moon conjunct Pluto. Intense mood, strong burst of energy to purge anything that's holding you back. Once a month at this aspect, we can develop a new base emotional state and overcome insecurities. It brings up within us either a defiant response that disrupts on the negative side, or on the positive side, a quiet reserve that heals. Could bring up jealousy and the desire for revenge. Best to focus and harness the energy for transformation and regeneration. A little more psychic, magnetic, and of course, sexual energy emerges. And then late on Sunday evening, moon sextile sun. The perfect aspect to end of the week. Problem dissolved, and we feel better about ourselves. Easygoing, carefree attitude pervades. Good time for being with friends and family. So that's it for this week's aspects. Okay, as promised last week, Donald Trump going into a very interesting synchronicity with this guy. This month, we've got a series of Saturn aspects happening while Saturn is at 8 degrees of Capricorn. On the screen, I've got a double wheel. On the outer wheel, Donald Trump, and on the inner wheel, March the 11th. And you'll see Saturn currently at 8 degrees, 1 minute of Capricorn on that day. So it's going to be much like last month when we had every single inner planet made an aspect to Neptune while it was at 13 degrees of Pisces. So it's the same kind of thing with Saturn this month. Now Saturn is moving slowly this month as it gets ready to go retrograde in mid-April. So that's why so many aspects are happening at 8 degrees for Saturn. Its important point here is that in Trump's natal chart, you'll notice he's got his natal Mercury here at 8 degrees of Cancer, which is exactly opposite the 8th degree of Capricorn, where all of this action is going on for Saturn. So let's go over these aspects that we're having for Saturn this month and see how that relates to Donald Trump. Okay, so all while Saturn's at 8 degrees of Capricorn, we've got Mercury square Saturn at 8 degrees 0, and that's this Saturday the 10th, followed by Venus square Saturn at 8 degrees 9 minutes on the 13th, and then at the end of the month on the 31st, we've got Sun square Saturn at 8 degrees 51 minutes. And you'll notice his Mercury is at 8 degrees 53 minutes of Cancer. And then finally, on April the 2nd, Mars conjunct Saturn at 8 degrees 58 minutes of Capricorn. All of this action on Saturn with Trump's Mercury exactly opposite all of this. So Trump's going to get the Saturn opposition right in between the Sun square and the Mars conjunction, right on the 1st. So those are the two most important ones. And those are the ones that are closest to his Mercury. So all of these Saturn aspects manifest in a way that's going to affect him and his politics, because Mercury rules politics. It's going to affect him directly. So follow me on this one. It gets rather interesting with regards to the implications in the real world. You know, when we want to consider all of these squares, Sun, Mercury, and Venus square Saturn, we see that, you know, we're at a point of crisis, because every square is a crisis. And we say, well, what crisis? Well, to determine what crisis, we always go back to the conjunction, which is the start of the cycle. And this is a common theme you'll find. You know, Robert Hand mentions this in several points in his book, usually when he's talking about Saturn transits and the cycle of Saturn transits. But it's the same idea for all of them. You know, when you look at the conjunction, and whatever happened at the conjunction is going to face a test at the square. So the most important one, I think, is the Sun conjunct Saturn, which happened at 0 degrees Capricorn on December the 21st. And then there was also Venus conjunct Saturn that happened at 0 degrees Capricorn, and that was on the 25th of December. And then we had Mercury conjunct Saturn at 2 degrees Capricorn on January 12th. So that was the start of the cycle. Okay, that's the point that we're looking back to see what's going to be tested. What happened in late December? So we ask ourselves, what happened on that day? Well, that just so happens to be the most important day in Trump's presidency, because that was the day that Trump signed the executive order to seize the assets of people involved in human trafficking. His political promise to drain the swamp. Okay, executive order blocking the property of persons involved in human rights abuse and corruption, December 21st, 2017. That was the big Sun conjunct Saturn in Capricorn event. And that's the big event that's going to be tested on the 31st of this month. And it just so happens to perfectly square and oppose Trump's Mercury. Go figure. Isn't that just amazing? Please refer to my video on the winter solstice for complete details. But basically, within the overall framework of Saturn's entrance into Capricorn, at that time, astrologers were looking for a major event to signify that moment, a moment which would serve as a grand entrance of Saturn in Capricorn, which promises a return to morality and accountability. And at that event, it turned out to be the executive order, which we know for sure because it took place on the day. And that's what astrology teaches us. You know, and that was Trump's major move to take down the deep state and drain the swamp. So this month, culminating with the Mars conjunct Saturn on the 2nd of April, we arrive at a moment of crisis for Trump's executive order and his promise to drain the swamp. And it looks like a cosmic setup. And I just love those, don't you? But it makes things just so much more interesting. And what's even more interesting, even more with Trump, this week, the Mars trine Uranus, you'll see 26 Sag, 26 Aries. It forms a grand trine on his natal Mars at 26 Leo. Wow. He has a lot of strength and ambition to assert himself this week. A very energetic and fortunate set of transits for him. It looks like Trump's going to be having a really good week this week, leading into all of this stuff happening this month. He's got Uranus trine Mars exactly on the 18th. Very fortuitous for him. Let's pray he's successful in draining the swamp and prosecuting the child traffickers. Okay, briefly, I wanted to go over developments in South Africa. They say that time for reconciliation is over, and they're voting to confiscate white-owned land. The Parliament voted to do this. Now, it still has another step to go before it becomes a law. But anyway, I wanted to take a look at their transits. Notice in their natal chart, they've got a Pluto conjunct moon in Scorpio. So there's a lot of potential for violence and renewal with them, especially cultural and racial violence. And the opposition to Venus over here means they may disregard diplomacy and have an ends justify the means mentality. And at this moment, Chiron is trining their Pluto. So they know they're causing pain by doing this, but they're displaying the negative side of Pluto. They're being defiant, and they're doing it anyway. But really, the big transit that we're looking at with them right now is Uranus square Uranus. The last pass occurred this weekend, and it's coincidental with this vote. Now, when you get this as an individual, this transit occurs for the first time in your mid-20s. It's supposed to be a time of putting away the rebelliousness of youth and pursuing your career. But for them, a country, it's a crisis to see if they can incorporate Uranian qualities, equality and brotherhood for all people, and regardless of color, into their structure, their existing sense of community. And that's the main issue for them as a nation. So clearly this shows that many people in South Africa do not see white people as part of the collective community. Unfortunately, very sad to say. So it looks like we are seeing a fundamental flaw in South Africa. Their failure to incorporate equality at this critical junction in their young history is an ominous sign. There is already racial violence going on, and the big question is, will it erupt into even further and destroy that nation? Pluto's going to start the conjunctions to Neptune and Uranus in 2020. We'll see what happens. Okay, and in summary, announcing the winner of the contest for the free reading is Ensima Technologies. Thank you very much. And really, everyone wins, because everyone that donated is welcome to get free astrology advice from me. This campaign was a success, so I decided to repeat the contest again in March, and probably every month after that. You know, it seems like a really good way to keep folks interested. So please donate. Everyone who donates in any given month is automatically entered into the contest for that month to win a free natal reading. And for those of you who have already given more than $5, like Kenny Young, thank you very much. Just know that you're automatically entered into the contest for following months. You'll find donations buttons for Patreon and PayPal in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my channel homepage. And of course, introducing my Twitter channel, which I'm doing regularly now. You can check that for Twitter feeds. Please contact me if you're interested in a natal or transit reading. I'm also available for consultations on a regular monthly basis, using astrology as a tool for life coaching. And of course, I am a Reiki master, like I've mentioned before, and I do long-distance Reiki healings. So if you're interested in what Reiki can do for you, and want to explore the healing energy, or would like to get a long-distance healing, maybe you can stop by my booth here at the Sacramento New Earth Expo on the 11th. I'll be there. Or you can contact me at mobilestar7@yahoo.com, or my weblog at tomsocalm.com, where I post the transcript of these weekly videos. So that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Once again, thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Many blessings, and have a great day.